The Anti-Sexual Harassment Bill was finally passed yesterday after more than a decade of fight by lawmakers and civil societies demanding better redress for victims of sexual harassment. Leading up to its implementation, Karen Lai from the Women's Centre for Change highlights a few gaps in the bill that needs to be addressed to ensure that victims are fully protected.
Victims can look forward to basically faster, more affordable and also more accessible redress through the tribunal. However, we would like to reiterate three key areas that still have to be looked into. These were identified as critical gaps in the bill when we started our campaign responding to the bill back in February. And I just want to repeat them here. Firstly, I think it is important to ensure that there are organizational duties to prevent and address sexual harassment, especially in places like the workplace, educational institutions, and so on. So this is not provided for under the bill. Secondly, I think we need to protect against forms of sexual harassment that are not directed at a person per se, but in effect created a hostile, intimidating, or offensive environment. Things like, rape jokes, sexually offensive jokes and all that, that may not be targeted at anyone, but again can have that very negative effect on people. And thirdly, it's really important to protect against victimization for those who wish to speak out for offences against themselves, and also for those who may be reporting on behalf of others in their particular organizations.
Although the legislation was passed, Karen said it's important for the public to know that there are many steps required before the bill is implemented. She recommends for the government to raise more awareness about the law to the public.
I think many people think that when a piece of legislation is passed, when a law is passed, then it's a done deal, settled and implemented immediately. But it's very important for the public to understand that that's not the case, because the redress in this bill is civil in nature, that is between private parties, as opposed to criminal, that is involving the police and the criminal justice system and so on. Implementation will take a while. For example, the establishment of the tribunal itself is quite a complex matter. You need to identify potential members, appoint them and so on, and this could take a long time, say over a year. Membership of the tribunal, including the gender composition of the tribunal and the backgrounds of the members and all that, could also be an issue, as has been raised in public discussions as well. So on the whole, this could lead to a public perception of delay and ultimately dissatisfaction, and lead to victims and complainants lacking recourse in the meanwhile. But I think members of the public need to understand, the main difference in the nature of the act, and this needs to be addressed in any communications moving forward, such as in roadshows to the public. Of course, with the assurance that the ministry is taking steps towards an action plan to make sure that implementation is smooth.